The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
All right, it's Tuesday and we are ready to go. All right. Well, wow. I'm tired. Welcome to No Credentials Required. I'm running out of gas, man. Welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need to press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts of the show, and to my right is a man who is projected to be the number one draft pick in the UFL draft this year, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing tonight?
That's right. I'm doing all right. I've kept this, thank you for asking, sir. I've kept this classified, but I have been trying out, much like Eli Manning this year in the Kick of Destiny. I want to be the first to be picked number one overall as a kicker for the UFL. It's going to be fantastic. I'm a bit wiry. If you know that movie that we're talking about and you've tuned into part one of our mock draft, you may know what that's in reference to. We're going to get into part two tonight, but I am very excited to be here with you, and mostly excited. I know a lot of people have, at the top of the show, I just want to get into one thing with you real quick, because a lot of people have a lot of passionate feelings about daylight savings time, but we are about to spring ahead, and spring ahead is my preference. I wish we would just spring ahead and stay there, because it allows for more time for smoking meats on my patio while it's still light out, and also smoking cigars, and also taking walks in a park that is very close to my house. I enjoy those things. I enjoy doing them after work as a means to de-stress. Ergo, I love the extra light. My mood also lightens the longer the days get. I got a little bit of that seasonal thing going on. I take extra vitamin D, but your thoughts?
Vitamin D.
I know where you're trying to go. Don't take it there. Don't take it there.
Too late. No, I'm torn on the issue, but I prefer if we did not have daylight savings time anymore, because it brings this out of me.
I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds.
Yeah, I do wish that we would just pick one and stay with it.
Yep. Me too. All right. We're going to get into part two of our NFL mock draft tonight, as well as some other NFL news. Ovi Goal Watch 2025 is still on. And also we're going to talk about our favorite athletes to wear the number 16, because the 16th episode of the new podcasting season. But in the meantime, I just want to remind you to please follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and also check out our other podcasts and articles on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you podcast, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And also, please don't forget to hit that notification bell on either Twitter or on YouTube. That way you know when videos go up, when show announcements go up, when we have clips go up. You're informed. You're well informed as to when we are live and when we're going to do stuff on other shows. So hit that notification bell. On the podcast side, you can rate and review. Also leave a comment. If you're on Spotify, you can leave a comment for every episode. But if you also do, please rate, review if we're on a platform where you can review. We'll even read them on the air. And because we're a live show on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, also at Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern, we are a live show. We want your comments in the comment section, either when we go live on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or excuse me, not Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube, or a little bit later on bellyupsports.com. And I know I'm a little tired tonight, but certain. You're muted.
Well, that stinks. You got to stay up past chime time. My apologies.
Chime time. It's we never have a daylight saving time when it comes to chime time.
Oh.
Can't believe you muted yourself.
I'm sorry. I was trying to save you some editing or also save noise gates. So I muted myself and then forgot to unmute myself. Things happen on a live show, people.
That's okay. I thought you had like a fart or burp or something like that.
Well, thank you for spoiling things, Ryan. But yes, I do.
That's why it's called a cough button in the radio world.
Yeah.
Just in case you do something that's out of pocket, like a bodily function.
Yes,
So,
and also I've edited. Everybody does it, but I've edited enough podcasts on the audio side of things. Not an expert in video, but every once in a while, there's just you never realize how many mouth noises you make until you edit it. And noise gates are our friend, everybody.
Yes, they are. All right, we're continuing with our mock draft for the 2025 NFL Draft. We are concentrating on picks 19 through 32. I'm going to try to put together some graphics on social media and put together the picks for every team that picks. It's going to be interesting what the reactions are going to be.
We should release them piecemeal, like the first 5 and then the second 5 and then the oh man, that'd be
like
pretty
a thread.
funny.
I know it'll be a Twitter thread, and I don't know how many pictures you can post on Instagram at once, but
Yeah.
let's do that piece by piece on Instagram. But in the meantime, we left off at 18. And I'm going to actually, you know what? I might as well bring up the document just to review who has been selected thus far. Because I did a terrible job of trying to figure out how to, because we're on the last show, we had people picking for us and we kept going, no, this player got selected by this team. And I couldn't remember who. So
yeah, it was tough.
So here are our picks 1 through 19. Or 18, excuse me. Tennessee Titans, they selected Jared the King Lawler. Cleveland Browns selected Tim Couch. New York Giants selected Billy Bob. We don't know his last name. We just know he's Billy Bob.
Yeah, he's Billy Bob.
Just Billy Bob. Or maybe Bob is his last name.
Maybe.
The Patriots selected Mike Vrabel. Jacksonville Jaguars selected Uncle Rico. Las Vegas Raiders, Kevin Franklin. Alvin Mack went to the New York Jets. Brian Murphy went to the Carolina Panthers. Darnell Jefferson to the New Orleans Saints. Patrick Madman Kelly is now a Chicago Bear. San Francisco 49ers selected Jerry Rice.
Out of retirement
via Mississippi Valley State. Dallas Cowboys selected Denny Bateman. Miami Dolphins, Ace Ventura. Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Moxon. Quarterback from West Canaan High School. A lot of picks from West Canaan High School.
Yeah, West Canaan cleaned up a little bit.
At number 15, the Falcons selected Trey Young. At number 16, Arizona selected Steve Latimer. Cincinnati Bengals at 17 selected Steve Hutchinson. At number 18, Seattle Seahawks took Matthew Tkachuk. So here we are, number 19. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock. Take it away.
All right, I will take it away. And if you haven't figured it out, folks, the mock draft, the mock means something different in this case. But we hope you enjoy this as much as we enjoyed putting it together. Ryan's genius idea once again. And there were some shockers in the first round, notably Ace Ventura. I think Miami might have. They either swung really big with that one and missed, or it's going to be a hit. We'll see. We'll see how Ace does. But for now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they had some injuries at wide receiver last year, and Mike Evans is entering the last year of his contract. So, they may be looking for new targets for one Baker Mayfield. And there's one pick that just, they selected this player. This pick makes sense, Ryan. They're drafting to fill a need. They drafted wide receiver Charlie Tweeter from West Canaan High School. So one of Mox's prime targets here. One of Mox's prime targets off the board. He goes to the Tampa Bay Bucks at number 19, a new target for Baker Mayfield. And I think this one could work out pretty well.
Solid pick because eventually they're going to have to replace a quarterback. And it's this is not a bad pick. I'm sorry, you get to not replace him, but you're going to have to not a quarterback, but you got to add wide receivers. You need a complementary receiver for Mike Evans. So
and Godwin was hurt last year, so they're looking for a little bit of depth at the position and new talent, because eventually Mike Evans, he's not going to be there forever.
No, he isn't. He isn't. All right, number 20. It's the Denver Broncos, who are now on the clock. And their defense was pretty solid last year. Pretty solid defense last year. Offensively, they did okay, but I got them thinking here, they got to get their running back of the future. I know this guy's had some injury concerns. He's kind of leaning in his career. He's not sure if he wants to be in the NFL. He wants to be a preacher. He wants to be a street preacher. But this guy excelled in college, had some injury concerns, but I think the running back of the future is with the Denver Broncos. Hit number 20. They pick via the Washington Sentinels. A lot of names off the board from the Washington Sentinels.
Yeah.
Running back Walter Cochran. Walter Cochran didn't have a touchdown in college, but he's hoping to score one in the pros. And goes to a good place where he has decent running, he has decent blocking up front, where he can help Bo Nix excel to the next level. He did pretty well last year, but Bo Nix needs a complimentary running back of the future to go with him into the future as the Broncos' future quarterback. And I think Walter Cochran, he could be that guy.
I think that's a solid pick. They've got to put a foundation around Bo Nix that he can kind of grow with together, because Bo Nix, he just came out last year, pretty young guy. Broncos trying to get a young core in place. Sean Payton trying to continue revamping the culture of that team. So I think this makes sense here.
All right. Number 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock.
This is pretty crazy, because I'm being told, Ryan, that the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have a question at quarterback, and it all indications coming out of the Steelers is that they will not retain Russell Wilson. So if they decide to go with Justin Fields, they would like a veteran presence to kind of mentor Justin Fields. And this player that they are selecting here is another player at the QB position that had he was a very talented college player, but then he had confidence issues and just never really found his footing in the ever since his mistake in the biggest game. But Sentinels coach McGinty was able to rebuild his confidence. The Pittsburgh Steelers, this is shocking, Ryan, 2 Washington Sentinels off the board back to back. Shane Falco for some quarterback depth, along with Justin Fields, and someone that can really mentor Justin and help him continue to rebuild his career. I like this pick.
It's a solid pick. And Pittsburgh's got to build for the future. And I know we had a shaky game in that bowl game for Ohio State where he kind of lost his feet, kind of got happy feet and got knocked out. I do have a question, though, about his concussion concerned.
Oh, that is true. That is true. I'm sure the Pittsburgh Steelers medical staff is all over that evaluation, but hopefully there won't be many trips to the blue tent for Shane Falco this upcoming season.
Hopefully. I know the Washington, the Steelers looking for some protection to protect Shane Falco. All right, number 22 is the Los Angeles Chargers, and LA Chargers had a shocking season last year. They got pretty much got most of the stink off of the Brandon Staley chapter, coaching chapter, bringing in Jim Harbaugh, guides him to a wild card, and unfortunately, the Chargers going to charger when it comes to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about what they need. Thinking about wide receiver. I think what'll happen is they'll pick up Cooper Kupp in the trade with the Rams. It's not going to be for their first round pick. I mean, I if you're a Rams fan or anybody who's connected with the Rams, if you're thinking about you're going to get a first round pick for Cooper Kupp, you got something. You saw how the Deebo Samuel trade wound up, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after the break.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not getting a first round pick for Cooper Kupp. I'm
No,
sorry.
no. I think the value, we'll get into it again, like you said, after the break, but the value has been established. The value has been established with that Deebo Samuel trade.
But I think with some of the plays where they got burned sometimes on defense, especially in the passing game, Derwin James needs some help. And I think this guy, and look, another Washington Sentinel right off the board. Although he's got a questionable history, we understand we may have had a name change. We're not sure about his birth certificate or his records, where he's from. He did serve some time in the local state penitentiary. So with the 22nd pick overall in the NFL draft, the LA Chargers select Ray Smith, defensive back.
All right,
this just in. We do have the identity of Ray Smith. His real name is Earl Wilkinson.
Okay. I'm glad the Chargers were able to clear that up. But this is a classic Harbaugh pick. He likes to draft for need, and I think this is a good one.
All right. Number 23, the Green Bay Packers are on the clock.
All right, the Green Bay Packers, I am shocked, Ryan, at what just happened. There's been rumors that Jair Alexander may be on the move, which would open up a need for the Packers at cornerback. And maybe they know something we don't, because this draft pick is shocking. They are going a similar route to the Patriots in drafting a player/coach. But via the Colorado, this is shocking. I don't know if he's going to mentor some younger talent in the locker room. I don't know if it's because his son is probably coming out and being drafted, and maybe he wants to pull a LeBron and play with his son in the NFL. But Ryan, I'm shocked. Deion Sanders is coming out of retirement and also stopping coaching at the Colorado State Buffaloes to return to the NFL, but not as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He will be playing cornerback for the Green Bay Packers this upcoming season. Does prime time still have it?
Well, we're about to find out. I mean, look, I know Deion Sanders, he's known for his flash. He's known for his flair. It's coming to Green Bay. And I know those kids have those bikes that bike the players back and forth between the hotel, their residence, and Lambeau Field during training camp. I got a feeling that Deion's going to get one of those bikes and just totally prime it up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's going to have the Prime logo. It's going to have all the bedazzling and all that stuff. It's prime time in Green Bay.
It's prime time again. It's prime time again. Now, hopefully this goes better than his first unretirement bid with the Baltimore Ravens, and I believe about 2001-ish. Hopefully.
Something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Pick number 24 belongs to the Minnesota Vikings, and I know they drafted who was their quarterback of the future last year when they traded with my New York Jets to the number 10 spot to pick J.J. McCarthy. No relation. He got hurt last year, didn't play at all last year. Sam Darnold stepped up for him and played pretty well. But in order for your quarterback of the future to excel, you have to have some good blocking in front of him. And that team again, the Washington Sentinels.
Yeah, they're cleaning up. They're cleaning up this draft.
Between the Washington Sentinels,
Yep.
West Canaan High School,
Yeah.
Eastern State University. It's crazy.
Yeah, Eastern State University dominated the early rounds.
They sure did. But I'm going to pick this guy. This guy was a surprise. He's only played that 1 year, only played 4 games for the Washington Sentinels, but was exceptional in those 4 games. Was the 24th pick in the draft. Minnesota Vikings select Fumiko, offensive guard, Sumo Academy.
One of my, I've heard multiple reports that he's just a great character guy, great teammate, and happy to be there. So this is a great pick all around. It's drafting for need, also a locker room building guy. Fantastic. McGinty's got quite a squad with the Washington Sentinels there.
And I'm sure that Fumiko will be inspired. Don't forget, Fumiko scored a touchdown last year. Last year, and I'm sure he'll have his heart on his sleeve. He'll be inspired to play for Coach McGinty, who unfortunately passed away. Over the weekend. So
yeah,
he'll be very inspired to play good for his coach, play well for his coach. And Fumiko, great draft pick for the Minnesota Vikings. All right, number 25, the Houston Texans are on the clock.
And the Houston Texans, this pick also is for need. They had some problems last year at wide receiver. They lost Stephon Diggs, their big offseason acquisition. He went down to injury during the season, and they also lost Tank Dell as well, if memory serves. And I feel like they lost another receiver whose name is escaping me. By the end of the season, they were notoriously thin at the position, unfortunately, and it did hurt them along with their offensive line woes. I thought that maybe they'd go offensive line, but it turns out that maybe last year scared them to the degree they felt the need to work out a trade with the Arizona Cardinals for a wide receiver, a draft day trade for future considerations, and a 2026 second round pick. The Arizona Cardinals are trading to the Houston Texans Rod Tidwell, wide receiver, Arizona Cardinals. And will he play well enough so that the Houston Texans show him the money with an extension? We'll find out.
Yeah, it's going to be Rod Tidwell. Houston Texans. Are they going to show him the money? Is it going to be a holdout? Will they show him the money, or is he going to play his heart out to earn that big contract? That's left to be seen. That's for sure. All right, LA Rams 26. Like we know, I mentioned they're looking to trade Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua emerged as the best target over the last couple of seasons. Juju Atwell has emerged as a reliable receiver, but the Rams are going to need some new blood eventually, especially with Cooper Kupp leaving the team. And I scouted this far and wide for this particular pick, but this is pretty shocking. This is a pretty shocking pick, and with the number 26 selection, the LA Rams select Jimmy Sanderson, wide receiver.
Oh wow,
Miami Sharks, who he emerged from the other league, with both Jack Rooney and Willie Beeman, and as his quarterbacks last year, and he stepped it up when it needed. He's complimented receiver with Terrell Owens on the other side of the ball, but Jimmy Sanderson, he's looking to prove his worth in the NFL, and I think he's going to do that with the 26th pick. Welcome to Los Angeles, from one big market to another.
Yep.
Welcome to LA, Jimmy Sanderson.
Yeah, he's got the temperament for it, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I think he's going to play. He's going to be very motivated to prove himself in the NFL. He's proved it in the other league. He wants to prove it in the NFL now.
That's right. That's right. All right, number 27. Baltimore Ravens are on the clock.
Okay, this pick, the Baltimore Ravens could have gone in a variety of directions here. I feel like they have other team needs. So this was very this is kind of shocking. I was not expecting this, but I guess with the importance of obviously last year you saw the importance of Derrick Henry at running back and the impact that he had on the Baltimore Ravens offense and taking the pressure off of Lamar Jackson and giving them another option that the defense had to account for when he lined up behind Lamar under center. So I can see the logic in this pick, but this pick, his injury history, there were concerns that he may never play again. They're wondering if he would be able to rebuild after the injury and be the same explosive player that he was. But this guy's making the jump straight from high school to the NFL. The Baltimore Ravens have selected Brian Smash Williams from West Dillon High School. He did go to college, but it did not work out all that well, if memory serves. So he's looking. This is a pick that is surprising in the first round, but the Baltimore Ravens must believe in his potential and believe he's fully rehabilitated from that injury and also learned from his mistakes in college, and they must love his revamped work ethic. If he is rebuilt from the injury, Smash could provide them another star at running back for years to come with Derrick Henry. He's getting up there in age, folks. He's a wonder, but there's no denying he's getting up there in age. But I thought the Ravens had needs at other positions. This is surprising to me.
Yeah, I'm surprised, especially with the troubles that Justin Tucker is supposedly under. Nigel Gruff was available at kicker, so I'm surprised they didn't pick him. But maybe they got something up their sleeves. Before we go to our next pick, gotta acknowledge the comment section. Kevin Wilson saying good evening to you both. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. Appreciate you stopping by. Next on the clock, the Detroit Lions, and the Detroit Lions got to think of the future. They got to think of the future. Jared Goff, he's done all these since he was traded. Basically, set a okay. Let's the record straight here.
All right.
With Jared Goff, he was set adrift by Sean McVay.
Yes,
a couple years ago when they trade for Matthew Stafford. He was set adrift, and he's proven everyone wrong. He's proven everybody wrong in his time in Detroit. Had a transition season with Dan Campbell as his new head coach. But ever since then, he's picked up his game, led the Lions to the playoffs twice, went to the NFC Championship in 2023, had the best season ever last season in Detroit with a 15-2 record. Didn't perform well in the playoffs, but that game was shocking overall. Entire game was shocking. But that has me thinking, the Detroit Lions got to think of the future. They've got a new offensive coordinator. Jared Goff, he's gonna hit the other side of 30 soon. So the Detroit Lions got to think of the future. It hasn't really worked out in terms of their other backups. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater literally came out of retirement.
Yes,
play
for the playoffs. Yeah,
for the playoff run. I believe he was coaching high school football, and he led his Florida high school team to a championship. But we'll see if he goes back to coaching this year or if he stays around in Detroit for another season. But Detroit's got to think of the future. They got to think quarterback. And there's only one quarterback I could think of who has a pretty inspirational story, was considered a Heisman pick. He was in the running for the Heisman. Unfortunately, he was derailed by issues off the field with sobriety. Went to rehab for a couple of weeks, but came back and led Eastern State University to their first bowl game in a very long time this past season. I'm taking in this spot Joe Kane, quarterback, Eastern State University. Timberwolves.
I like this
Ooh.
pick, Ryan. I like this pick. My only concern, though, is Joe Kane. He's got a little bit of that what is in him that makes him great could also be hazardous to the team because Joe Kane has shown a propensity to live life on the edge, to put himself at risk and go for it all. And that's a great quality to have in a quarterback, but it's also you might have to put some contingency clauses into his contract. I would if I were the Detroit Lions here.
Well, I think with his stint in rehab has taught him a couple things about kind of taking it easy for a bit. And I mean, I know the NFL is a pressure cooker, but he's been given the tools to cope with some of those things that has kind of played demons in his life. So I think he's matured, and I think he's earned this spot. He's earned this spot for sure. All right, number 29, the Washington Commanders.
Oh, the Washington Commanders here. Now, they made a trade over the weekend. A lot of people thought they were going to be going wide receiver with this pick, but I think that trade that we're going to get into after the break kind of fills that need. So the Washington Commanders, they have needs on the offensive line. Just because Jaden has the ability to run around and make athletic plays, this regime does not want to make the same mistakes that people did previously with Robert Griffin III. I think that this new regime in Washington is much more cautious. They're trying to build the team, build the young core around Jaden Smith, Jaden Daniels, protect the assets. And this is, Ryan, this draft has been filled with players that are making the jump straight from high school. And here's another one. And his coach talked glowingly about how he didn't want to join the team, but then once she got him to join the team, he was instrumental in the championship game. He really came in, after an injury and filled a need, and he is the definition of size at the position. The Washington Commanders are drafting tackle Philip Finch. He's from the Central High School Wildcats. And they could move him all over the offensive line. With his size, they could put him at center. They could put him at left guard. They could put him at right guard. We don't know. This is a versatility pick by the Commanders. I like it.
It is a versatility pick. I understand he has a relationship with the police academy in town.
Yes, I believe he does. I believe you're right about that.
Well, if the career in the pros doesn't work out, he's definitely got a spot at the police academy. That's for sure. All right, number 30. The Buffalo Bills. They need some depth. Particularly at one position on offense. No, it's not quarterback. No, it's not wide receiver. It's not offensive line. It's not running back. James Cook can only do so many things, and was brilliantly displayed last year, especially late in the season, especially in the playoffs for the Buffalo Bills. But they need some depth. They need some of that dog in them. Arr, arr, arr. And this guy has been lighting it up. Doing some lighting things up at Kennesaw State. But he's trying to follow his father's footsteps in breaking into professional wrestling, but I think his skills could translate to the NFL. He's known as Braun Breaker at some places, but Buffalo Bills select Bronson Recksteiner, running back, Kennesaw State University. We've seen some of his highlights at Kennesaw State. My goodness, this guy can play. This guy is a dog.
Yeah, and you know what? This wouldn't be the first time that, there's a relationship. There's a correlation between professional wrestling and football. John Layfield, he played football in college. Bill Goldberg was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, I think.
Yeah,
Simmons.
I'm surprised none of these guys have been taken off the board, but day 2, day 3 picks.
Yeah, they might be. Bill Goldberg played for the Falcons. There is Ron Simmons. There is a relationship between football and professional wrestling. I think, the sky's the limit with this kid. his talent is obvious, whichever he chooses, and I'm kind of hoping he chooses football. I'm kind of hoping.
Me too. Me too. All right. We got two more picks. Number 31, the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, a lot of people may be asking themselves, what are the Kansas City Chiefs going to do? What are they going to do to kind of revamp the team after their Super Bowl loss to the team that will be picking next, the Philadelphia Eagles? If you're the Chiefs, what do you do? Well, we saw that if Patrick Mahomes, he didn't play the best in the Super Bowl, right? But still, if Patrick Mahomes goes down, we saw what Carson Wentz could do, and it wasn't good. So the Kansas City Chiefs, I can kind of see the logic of what they're doing here, but I'm a little shocked. They must feel that they're not far away from making another run at the Super Bowl here because they're getting younger at the position. They're drafting quarterback Chad Powers, Ryan. They're drafting quarterback Chad Powers. Now, I think this is a depth move. They're not exactly thinking to the future. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he has the QB position locked up in Kansas City, but people just have been raving about Chad Powers, even though he's only gone to college at Penn State. He got on the team as a walk-on at Penn State. He showed up and was wowing the people with his throws, particularly his arm. Chad Powers not known for his mobility, but they were talking about how it's almost like he's played the game for 16 years. His veteran presence, and I think that's why they're drafting him here as a competent backup to Patrick Mahomes. If something were to happen to Patrick next season, I think Chad Powers could step into that Andy Reid offense and probably not miss a beat.
Absolutely not. Which brings us to our 32nd pick in the first round in the NFL draft. Look, Philadelphia Eagles, what can you say? What more can you say about them? They Super Bowl champions, number 1 rated defense, pretty highly rated offense. Saquon Barkley, over 2,000 yards rushing this year, and also broke the record for all-purpose yards this year as well. You got Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Now, the tush push, it's very controversial. It's a very controversial topic in the NFL right now.
There is a team that is rumored to have wanted to get rid of it, and I think it's the Green Bay Packers.
It was the Green Bay. Yeah, it was the Green Bay Packers who said, we want the tush push to be illegal. Whatever. Stop. Learn to stop it. Like, talk to Todd Bowles. He's the only one who stopped it successfully. But Jalen Hurts, there's only so many short line situations you can get yourself into. And I think that the Eagles need a power back. They need a power back who can pound the rock in from very short distances, 5 yards, 4 yards, from inside the 5-yard line. You can't always rely on the tush push. You can't always rely on that particular play every single time because other teams know it's coming. So you need those hard yards, those very tough yards, 3rd and 2, 4th and goal from the 1. You need those really tough yards. And I scouted this guy. I said to myself, he had probably arguably the best championship game in high school I've ever seen. This guy scored 4 touchdowns in the championship game.
Unbelievable.
In the city championship game. It's unbelievable. It's incredible. When they beat Andrew Johnson High, I'm taking at number 32, running back Al Bundy from Polk High School.
Man, what a way to end the draft. I think the Eagles got themselves some grit. They got themselves some grit with this pick, and he's not going to take anything from anybody. And also, I understand that he's worked in a shoe store extensively, so
yes,
he knows his way around the human foot, which cannot be underrated. If you're that familiar with the human foot, you know how it works. You know how to run. He's going to be effective. I feel it.
Yeah. I mean, I would say to the Philadelphia Eagles cheerleaders, you got somebody who knows their footwear, but I believe it's for plus size women. So I don't know. He's got some experience there. We this is a great draft. This is a great first round of the NFL draft, mock
Yeah.
draft. We had a lot of players left off the board. We had Paul Crew. He was left off the board, but I think I think that was post posthumous, considering his passing. Stefan Djorkovic was left off the board. That hard-hitting cornerback from Ampipe High University, Ampipe High. Lucy Draper from Texas State was left off the board. We got some females out there. Lucy Draper was left off the boards.
Yep.
Phil Elliott from Dallas was left off the board. Forrest Gump, University of Alabama, Heisman winner. I'm surprised he did not.
I know. He could have filled the gap on special teams and also at running back depth as well. I mean,
True.
his kick returns. He looked like Dante Hall, or who was the guy that played for the Bears? He was very good. Devin Hester.
Oh, Devin Hester, yeah.
He looked like another Dante Hall or Devin Hester, a kick return artist. But I understand some teams might be hesitant to use a first round pick on that. It might be another day 2 or 3 pick here.
Yeah. Some other notable names left off the board. Reno Hightower was left off the board. He threw allegedly. Apparently, we don't have game tape of this, but apparently he threw 7 touchdowns in a game this year. Charles Jefferson from Ridgemont High was left off the board. Andre Krim from Texas State. Vontae Mack from Ohio State.
Vontae Mack,
linebacker.
Yeah.
Becky Icebox O'Shea was left off the board. Tim Riggins, Brian Riley, Cappy Rowe. Who else was off the board? Lavander Bird Williams was left off the board too. So day 2 and 3 picks, plenty of them coming up. Oh, apparently Stan Gable from Adams College was left off the board.
Yeah. Some of these, it is shocking, but with Tim Riggins especially, I know Tim. His family's important to him, but his brother's not always the best influence, but I understand his brother's turned his life around now. He's coaching at Dillon. And Tim, I think he's got his drinking under control, but you can't argue with his natural talent. He's a natural day 2 pick for me. I think somebody will take him there.
Uncle Al saying Rex Ryan has some foot knowledge also.
Well, I understand. I was going to get there.
Scott thinks of quarterbacks too.
Rex Ryan. I understand, Ryan, that Rex Ryan was one of the people that you talked to about the Al Bundy selection, and that's why the Eagles. I understand Rex Ryan had some pull, and Rex Ryan is quoted as saying, "I'm the only one who knows more about the foot than this guy." It was Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan's still involved.
And Wonko the saying, first thing I heard was he knows the human foot. How late am I? It's a little bit, Wonko. So that was our NFL mock draft for 2025. First round for the first 32 picks in the NFL mock draft. We won't be doing this anymore, so I'm tapped out when it comes to that.
I know. Well, you could tell that I was because I'm bringing players out of retirement, but this was really fun. I enjoyed doing this.
You know who was also off the board in the Washington Commanders? Alexander Ovechkin. He was. He was left off the board. And Ryan, we had, there was a hockey player and an NBA player drafted respectively. So it could have happened. That's true. Oh, we also had a pet detective drafted as well.
Yes. The Ace Ventura pick. That's either going to be the greatest pick in Dolphins history or the worst thing they've ever done. Only time will tell.
And we also had a professional wrestler.
And yes. And apparently, I'm being told, Ryan, reports out of Miami are that Ace showed up to his introductory press conference and promptly turned around. And he said to the reporters, if you'd like to ask me some questions, and they just didn't know what to do.
It's going to be an interesting couple of years in Miami.
Yeah.
All right. We got to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll get to real NFL news. We'll also talk about Ovi Goal Watch 2025 and our favorite athletes to wear the number 16. So please stand by and stay tuned for more. No credentials required.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
That was wonderfully voiced by Brent Radlinsky of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. Go check it out. It's one of our many podcasts at Belly Up Sports. But Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, it's great jerky. I don't have my pack. I don't have the package I had last week on me because I ate it.
Yeah.
It was my pre-cleaning snack for my parents. I usually go to my parents on Wednesdays, and I have a snack and my pre-workout because I have to be a little energized when I go clean their house in a little bit. But you gotta have something with the pre-workout. Otherwise, you're gonna have jitters. And I chose 20 grams of protein, low sugar, in a 2-gram package, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, and it sustained me for the entire time that I was helping clean their house.
Yeah. I'm in a similar boat. I've been working a lot, and I'm trying to stop myself from reaching for chips or other snacks. And I have to work some overtime after this, unfortunately. But fortunately, I will have a street taco pork stick as a snack to get me through it. The street taco, as I understand it, it's a newer flavor of meat stick, and I really like it. I'm going to be reordering those soon. I also have some OG hickories. I love those. I've got to try some of the other flavors, and I also am looking forward to trying some of the other jerky. I've had the habanero Escobar. If you like spice, you're going to love that, either in meat stick form or in jerky form. They have both. And also I have had the OG hickory jerky as well. It's delicious. And there's another flavor that I had that is, I think it was the Truffalo Bill. I enjoyed that as well. So, but the meat sticks for me, I like them. I take them with me to work. I store them in a drawer there, and I also have some in my cabinet. So I like grabbing a meat stick on the go. Try it. You won't be disappointed. Use the promo code. It's delicious stuff. And you also get, I think you already said this, Ryan, but you get free shipping on orders over 50. So you could save even more cash.
You are correct, sir. And those beef sticks are 100% beef, or 100%, or in the street taco case of the street tacos, 100% pork.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike those other beef sticks in the convenience stores that you see, their primary ingredient is pulverized chicken. It's not even beef.
I'm sorry, Macho Man. I'm sorry they did you like that.
And LA Knight. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what you want to do is go to righteousfelon.com, fill up your cart with amazing craft jerky, beef sticks, air-dried biltong, dog treats too.
Mm-hmm.
The Ranger dog treats. Pickles loves them.
He does. He can, if he could talk, he would talk about how much he loves them. He gets very excited when I go to get him a little treat from that bag. He knows the bag and he knows where I keep it, and he gets very excited when I go for it for him.
Yeah, so get yourself to righteousfelon.com, fill up your cart with great craft jerky, get 15% off your order with promo code BELLYUP, and save yourself some additional cash with free shipping. Free and fast shipping, might I add. Free and fast shipping. It comes to your door in a matter of days. You can combine those savings with the promo code and the free shipping. righteousfelon.com. Thank you for being a sponsor with Belly Up Sports. Julie from Michigan joining us late. Hello, a very late hello, gentlemen. Thank you, Julie, for tuning in. All right, let's talk about the NFL. Some interesting news in regards to franchise tags, player releases, and trades over the last couple of days. And let's start with the franchise tags first. It started out with the Kansas City Chiefs. They franchise tagged what was soon to be free agent Trey Smith. His franchise tag is $23.4 million. Trey Smith, considered one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL, was to be a highly coveted free agent, but no longer because Kansas City Chiefs has retained his services.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals, they put the franchise tag on T. Higgins once again.
Yeah, for the second straight year. Ooh.
For the second straight year at $26.1 million. Whether or not he'll sign a long-term deal, that remains to be seen. They don't really have, I'm not sure how much cap room they have, considering they just gave Joe Burrow an extension a few years ago. They just gave Jamar Chase an extension last year. So we'll see what happens with T. Higgins. And if he remains with the Cincinnati Bengals, or if they decide to trade him, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, those two tags, those are the two tags so far. Dustin, what are your feelings about these two tags?
Well, the one in Kansas City made sense. You couldn't let him hit the free agent market. And Kansas City, although they lost the Super Bowl this year, they still have an advantage where the furthest that they've advanced without going to the Super Bowl is the AFC Championship game. So even though there was some question about whether Kelsey was going to return, he is returning apparently. But Kansas City is still a place where people want to play. And so, I'm sure this franchise tag feels better to me. It makes sense. You got to secure a cornerstone of your offensive line like that. And he's probably thinking, hey, maybe we can go on another run and get something done. But the T. Higgins one, man, I don't know. Cincinnati ownership, they have a lot of people to try to hang on to. And Joe Burrow has been very vocal about, we're going to re-sign all these guys. Well, Joe, do you realize that your owner is Mike Brown? And T. Higgins was already frustrated, and they franchise tagged him for the second straight year, which sometimes when you do that with a player, the player starts to get frustrated. So we'll see what happens with this T. Higgins situation.
Didn't this happen with Saquon Barkley?
I think so, yes.
Yeah,
I believe so.
They wound up walking.
Yeah, because the Giants decided to go with I think Joe Shane had one too many PB&Js and decided to go into the Daniel Jones market. So
the sugar crash was affecting him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had two players who either avoided the franchise tag or didn't get franchise tags. So one of those players who didn't get franchise tag because he signed a 4-year extension was Osa Odigizua, defensive lineman from the Dallas Cowboys. He signed a 4-year, $80 million extension, including a $58 million. Yes, he gets $58 guaranteed.
Yeah,
$58 million guaranteed.
Wow.
He doesn't get paid the average annual value, but he saves the Dallas Cowboys a little bit of money.
Yeah.
26 years old, interior defensive lineman. Hopefully that the Dallas Cowboys can try to keep Micah Parsons, although we'll see. We'll see.
That's going to be tough. I mean, they have so much money tied up in CD and Dak. I mean, Micah Parsons, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep it. I mean, I keep him. I mean, we'll see what Jerry does, because we all know Jerry's going to do exactly what he wants.
So he was not franchise tagged because he was extended. But one other very notable player from who had a very good 2024, who did not get franchise tagged and is probably going to walk in free agency, quarterback Sam Darnold. The Minnesota Vikings opted not to tag Darnold. According to the USA Today, they're working towards a deal, but I've got a feeling he's probably going to walk somewhere else. And there's two places he could possibly go. One is the Raiders.
Yep.
Who need a quarterback.
Yep.
The other, and it's interesting that I bring this up.
Okay.
Will he run it back with the New York Jets?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's something.
He was quoted the other day saying that he said, yeah, I have some unfinished business in New York. Why not try to take care of that unfinished business?
Wow. Okay. If he's open to it, and who knows? It's a completely new regime in New York. Who knows? And I do have faith in Aaron Glenn as the head coach. I think I like some of the moves that he and the GM have been making. I think they're trying to build the Jets the right way, but yeah, I agree with you. I think Darnold does not stay in Minnesota. I think if he had performed better in the playoffs and the weeks leading up to it, I would say that the Vikings would have been left with no option but to at least tag him. But I think with his kind of little slide, just a little slide at the end of the season and the way that he played, he cost himself some money. And he also, it made it not essential that the Vikings would hang on to him. So I think I agree with you. I don't think a deal gets done. I think he goes somewhere else because the Vikings, they drafted JJ McCarthy and they drafted him high. They didn't draft him to sit behind Sam Darnold. And they do have the aforementioned Daniel Jones there. So, I mean, is there a spot for Sam? We'll find out.
Yeah, I did check into it a little bit more. I thought he said something to the effect of, yeah, I got some unfinished business in New York. Apparently, the Jets are not going to kick the tires on Sam Darnold again.
Okay.
I think it wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, there's some names that have been linked to the Jets. Justin Fields has been linked to the Jets. Why? His favorite target is the ground. Jameis Winston is apparently favored to be the newest quarterback for the New York Jets. So it'll be an interesting quarterback room this year because Tyrod Taylor, I think he'll try to grab the mantle in training camp. I don't know who they're going to bring in, whether it be Justin Fields, reunite him with Garrett Wilson. Let's see about that. And if they choose to draft a quarterback, whether they take a quarterback at 7, I doubt that'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or they try to trade him back into the first round for somebody who impressed them, or wait till day 2 or to pick a quarterback. We'll see. But yeah, it's just interesting that the Vikings chose not to franchise tag him, but I don't think he wanted to. I don't think they wanted to give him the money that they were going to tag him. We're going to have to tag him with if he was tagged.
Yeah. I think it speaks a lot that they didn't tag him. So, but I like you. I think the Raiders make a lot of sense. Sam Darnold has been rebuilt to some degree. Pete Carroll needs a quarterback out there who's a percentage of owner in the Las Vegas Raiders. One Tom Brady, not a bad landing spot for a quarterback, and he could. He could keep them competitive. He certainly, no disrespect, but he certainly would be better than Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew under center. So,
yeah, it's true. This comment section going on. A Crooked Commish has joined us saying, hey guys, what's up? Not much, Commish. He also says, is it just assumed Devante Adams will join Aaron? LOL.
I mean, maybe the Jets released him today, which we'll talk about here.
Yeah.
But Ryan, I got to ask you, because the least surprising, Matthew Stafford is staying with the Rams, right? And there was rumors that the Giants were trying to look at Matthew Stafford. He would have been destroyed. So apparently the other option that they are exploring, because they are looking into quote unquote all veteran quarterbacks, which includes Aaron Rodgers. After his latest experience in New York, do you think he would want to go across town with a team that inarguably has a worse offensive line than the New York Jets did? I just don't see it. And I really, Matthew Stafford staying with the Rams was the best option by far for both parties. I don't even know why this was a thing.
Because Colin Cowherd was trying to stay relevant. I have my sources. I texted a guy today. He said the Rams were asking for a first-round pick for Matthew Stafford. They were never going to get a first-round pick for Matthew Stafford. Stop it. Still waiting for him to apologize for saying that Jets fans were dopes because of the Adam Gase hire. You Jets fans are a bunch of dopes. This is a genius move.
Oh man.
Okay. Wonka the saying, love to take Higgins' quote, big drama here in Cincy. Reported on as often as the weather. Listen, for as much drama T. Higgins causes off the field, he comes up huge in the clutch when needed. They had it last year against the Steelers in that must-win game that would have given him a chance to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And against Denver, the game against Denver, came up huge. Huge in those games. So for Cincy to lose T. Higgins because he reportedly has a lot of drama, a lot of baggage, the baggage is worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that at all because no disrespect to Isavas or anybody else that was trying to fill the void while T was out, but it wasn't necessarily just Cincinnati's defense that cost them the spot at the playoffs, but once how they looked towards the end of the season when T returned, you have to wonder if he was there the entire time, would they have made the playoffs in spite of their terrible defense? I think they would have. He makes that much of a difference.
He does. He's worth the trouble in my mind. Wonko's actually Julie saying that's interesting that the Vikings didn't tag Darnold. It is. Wonko's asking if the Jets linebacker Jamie Sherwood is a free agent. He says, call him Seahawks. No, we need him. We need him in New York. Why is he on the roster? That's why, because it's 2025. All right, hang on.
All right,
real-time research.
Here we go. And under that, Julie saying, the Vikings are trash anyway. It's a good thing that one of the people
totally
who
unbiased
opinion. Yeah, it's a good thing because her and the guy who was a Vikings fan, they would get into it sometimes late in the season last year. So
indeed,
good thing he's not watching.
Jamie Sherwood is a free agent. He was coming off a rookie deal. He was an undrafted free agent. No, he wasn't an undrafted free agent. He was drafted in the 5th round in 2021. So he's coming off his rookie deal. Would be a shame to lose him. And Wonka's saying, "Oh yeah, I'm on Team Higgins." Yeah. There were some. The one trade over the weekend. Deebo Samuel going to the Washington Commanders for a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
This year's draft, which kind of shocked me a little bit.
Yeah, the 5th rounder. Yeah, that shocked me.
But apparently the deal was that the Commanders had to take his entire salary from his awful contract.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big hit. I mean, I'm surprised they were willing to take the entire salary. Now, I've watched Deebo Samuel play a fair bit because obviously Deebo Samuel on the 49ers, I see a lot of the 49ers, unfortunately, and they've had the Seahawks number for a few years now. Last year was the exception because of all the 49ers injuries. But I think, and this is Deebo Samuel, he came up huge for the 49ers a couple seasons ago. He was playing at running back. He was playing at receiver. He was everywhere. But apparently this season he showed up. He was a little overweight and out of shape, if reports are to be believed. And he's also getting older, and he's been nicked up a little bit, possibly from having to play running back and wide receiver. So I think that impacted the value a little bit, the perceived value of Deebo Samuel. But if he returns to the form that he's been previously, the Commanders, it cost them a bit, but they didn't have to give up much in the way of draft capital to get him. No. And I think he could be a deal.
And here's the thing. They still have $78 million in cap space.
Wow.
Even with that contract they take on, they still have $78 million cap space. It's ridiculous.
Man.
Ridiculous.
That's unbelievable.
And Julie from Michigan saying, completely unbiased opinion. obviously. Now, we've had a couple of, I know for your Seahawks, they released some players today, including George
Yes.
Fant.
Yes.
The Jets released Devante Adams. And very surprisingly, the Cincinnati Bengals released offensive lineman triple crown winner. Yes, there is a triple crown winner. There's a triple crown when it comes to offensive linemen in the NFL. And that criteria is sacks allowed, pressures allowed, and hurries allowed. Alex Kappa won the Triple Crown last year. He finished first in all categories in terms of not allowing too much pressure, not allowing too many sacks, and not allowing too many hurries. He's that good. And Cincinnati just said, we got to let you go.
It's Mike Brown. It's Mike Brown. That's what it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's cheap. He's cheap.
I'm sure Bengals fans won't disagree with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was his contract this year. In terms of his contract, he was set to earn. He was pretty cheap. He was set to be a free agent in 2026. He was originally with the Buccaneers. Then he signed a 4-year, $35 million contract in 2022 with the Bengals.
Mhm.
Was part of that offensive line that was pretty decent, protection wise. But yeah, I'm kind of shocked, but also the fact that he had 1 year remaining on his contract,
Yeah.
and he's only 30 years old. So that's
Go get him, Seattle. You need offensive line help. You always do. Go get him.
yeah. And then this afternoon, my New York Jets announced that they released. Well, I don't know if they were announced or it just came through the wire that Devante Adams, wide receiver, for all of 3 minutes. Even though those 3 minutes, he did pretty well.
Yeah,
pretty
he
well
looked
for those
okay.
3 minutes.
Especially in that Texans game, he was very good in the Texans game and some other moments.
It was good in the Texans game, the Jaguars game. Not so great in that one moment against Miami at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But he had some moments as a New York Jet where, if you wonder if you could have been with the team a little bit longer, that their fortunes would have been much different. But he is a cap casualty, and I believe the Jets saved some cash in terms of his salary. I think they only take about $8.5 million of his salary of dead cap space. But I mean, like Cookie Commissioner said,
Yeah.
is it just assumed that Devante Adams will just follow Aaron Rodgers? Probably.
Yeah, but where does Aaron go? I just don't see. Aaron would get hammered behind the Giants offensive line. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I talked about it. I know when we had our show with D. Willie, he thought that Aaron might end up on the Steelers, but I don't see Mike Tomlin and the Steelers bringing him in. So other than that, I don't see a destination for Aaron Rodgers. I just don't.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got to also wonder where Adams is going to head, wind up. Is going to be back in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
It's going to be the Eagles are going to turn into the Dodgers. They're going to get everybody.
Man, yeah. If they get Devante Adams and they could do something ridiculous like, okay, Devante, play the slot. That would be, or they say, okay, well, they would have Devante and Devonta. I know the announcers would struggle with that one, but oh my, what a three-headed monster that would be in AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Devante Adams. I don't even want to think about it. Oh, jeez.
And Julie saying in the comments, I heard the Eagles released Darius Slay. I don't think it was Darius Slay. I think it was James Bradbury who they're getting set to release. I thought I saw news about that today. But it's gonna be more as the because remember the NFL officially the season officially started in terms of the off season. It started on Saturday.
Yeah.
The new calendar year, March 1st. is the new year for the NFL, where they can start releasing players and making cap space. And I believe the tampering period starts next week. She says her boyfriend steered her wrong. Well, I she only knows because Darius Slay was with
a Lion, yeah.
Was a Lion.
Yeah.
But let's look at the NFL calendar real quick for 2025. Important NFL dates. This is according to NFL.com. And this is usually the week where players can start. The combine already happened. March 4th, prior to 4 p.m. New York time deadline for clubs to designate franchise or franchise tag or transition players. Then the negotiation period or tampering period, as it's called, is March 10th through 12th. Then March 12th, free agency begins at 4 p.m. Eastern. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of leaks of where players will sign. So starting next Wednesday, we'll probably talk about all on next Saturday's show, the 15th, about where certain notable players were headed or where went. But yeah, this is a new year, and we've got cap spaces being cleared, by teams, and it'll be interesting to see what happens starting on Monday, the 10th, when the tampering period begins, and then the 12th at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's when the free agency. That's when the bonanza begins.
Yeah, and just a little bit of behind the scenes. You alluded to some Seahawks moves that were made, and Mr. Wilson, Mr. Smooth, and I have been in talks. Eventually, there will be a Seahawks session soon because, as you alluded to, things are going on in the NFL. So it's going to be excited to see where certain names end up and things that happen. And I guarantee you there'll be something that shocks us all. And Ryan and I will get on the mics and talk about it.
That's for sure. That's for sure. All right. We're going to transition away from football. And it's time to do some watching.
Ovi Goal Watch 2025.
Ovi Goal Watch 2025 is on. He is now 10 away from tying Gretzky and 11 away from setting the record.
Yeah, 11. Will he break it? I think it's put your pick in. Do you think he breaks it Chicago or April 4th against the Blackhawks? Enter the contest. Contest.
So we'll bring it up again. So last week I announced the contest of Ovi Goal Watch 2025 with the hashtag Ovi Goal Watch 2025. So what we're doing is that we're doing a giveaway. What you have to do, and this requires audience participation. So it's on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You have to guess the game which you think Alexander Ovechkin will break the record. The closest contestant to him breaking the record will get a prize package from us here at No Credentials Required. We'll send you some craft jerky from Righteous Felon.
Mm-hmm.
We'll send you a bag of Invader coffee and a T-shirt from our Bonfire store, which is in the description. Make the world know that you're a cred head. Buy some gear from us. Buy some gear. But there's more. If you happen to guess the exact game where Alexander Ovechkin breaks the record, we'll send you a bonus prize to be determined. It could be anything. It could be a gift card. Could be signed autographs of us. You don't know.
Do you want those?
Gift.
Let us know.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. But yeah, we want you to participate. Again, go to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. Look for that post. I may do a repost of that of the rules and whatnot on our next tomorrow or whenever. So I'll keep posting it. I have to repost it. But get yourself involved in the game because right now there's only one contestant, and it's Dustin's uncle who says April 1st against the Bruins.
Mm-hmm.
So get your picks in. Get your picks in now because we're getting later in the season. We're about a month away from the season being over.
Yeah.
And he's only 11 away from the record.
Yeah. And if nobody gets it, If nobody else enters, sorry, my Uncle Al wins it by default, and I'm sure he doesn't want to win it that way.
I'm sure he won't. Oh, we forgot to mention one more piece of news from the NFL. Saquon Barkley has signed a 2-year extension with the Philadelphia Eagles for $42.5 million. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, okay, yep. Eagles released James Bradbury. Saints released Jamal Williams. Rams traded Jonah Jackson to the Bears for a 6th-round pick, and the Packers re-signed Brandon McManus to a 3-year deal. So, plenty of news to go around the NFL. But we're going to end our show because it's episode number 16 of the calendar year. Oh, it's my zipper. I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
Zip that up. It's my zipper hitting the microphone. But this is the 16th episode of the 2025 recording season. And we're going to talk about our favorite athletes to wear the number 16. So, Dustin, I'm going to have you lead off here. Who is your favorite athlete that you saw play anywhere wear the number 16?
Well, for this one, it was another one that I did not have an obvious pick, and lately I've been trying to stay away from people that are still playing. I don't know why. It's just where the list carried me. But I did not pick Peyton Manning because that's right. He wore 16, I believe, as a member of the Tennessee, the Tennessee Vols, right?
Yes, he did.
But I did not go Peyton Manning. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? This pick is obvious for me. And people can call me a homer. They can call me whatever they want. I'm picking Tyler Lockett. Now, Tyler Lockett, yes, he's still playing. Yes, he is still playing, but he just felt right to pick, especially with his future in Seattle being in question, although there are some rumblings that he may get an extension in Seattle. But he has been a foundation of that locker room and the overall culture. And let's not forget, Tyler Lockett was originally drafted to be on special teams. He was drafted to be a returner. That is what he was projected to be. And he did a decent job at it, but he has turned into one of the most precise route runners in the NFL today. Now, is he quite the speedster that he once was? His numbers dropped off this season in Seattle, and he was the clear number 3 receiver in Seattle. But I think it speaks a lot to Tyler Lockett as a person that there is even talk of him getting an extension in Seattle. And if he does, I would be thrilled if he retired a Seahawk. I thought he was a shoo-in to go to the Raiders, and we'll have to see what happens. But I thought he would be the perfect locker room building block for Pete Carroll to kind of instill the culture that Pete Carroll wants to start building down there and building his philosophy. But Tyler Lockett, such a precise route runner, sure-handed as anybody. He's been a Pro Bowler. He's gone to Super Bowls. He's won Super Bowls. A Super Bowl, unfortunately. Tyler Lockett, great number 16, my favorite to do it. And when his career is said and done, I probably will get myself a Tyler Lockett jersey.
Well said. Well said. And again, these are our players. They're not your players. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is subjective. Yeah. And yes, we'll definitely make homer picks. I've made a couple of my own. Dustin has made a couple of his own.
Yeah.
Uncle Al chiming in saying the best I ever saw, Joe Montana. Best ever, Frank Gifford.
I thought about number 16 for Joe Montana, Uncle Al, but the thing was, I wasn't really watching football back then. At that time, I didn't see Joe play other than highlights of things. I wasn't as tuned into the game. Around the time when I would have started watching, Montana was already done with the Chiefs at that point. So I didn't really get a chance to really see him play outside of highlights. So that's why my Montana doesn't make that list for me.
So for my number 16, actually Julie chimes in too. Oh, Kevin Wilson saying, Lockett, gotta love him.
Yeah.
And then Julie says, number 16 that I've seen play, Jared Goff. The one I haven't seen play, Tom Brookins, 1984 Detroit Tigers. My number 16, and I had quite a few to choose from. Joe Montana was one of them, for sure. Brett Hull was another one. Although that name, if I ever go to Buffalo and I say the name Brett Hull, I will be tossed into the Niagara Falls
with no barrel.
With no barrel. And Kevin saying, "Be a homer." There's no shame in that. Absolutely not. My favorite number 16, outfielder for the Kansas City Royals and the Chicago White Sox and the California Angels, Bo Jackson.
A great pick. A great pick.
Bo Jackson. And I remember, and he could have been a Hall of Famer for sure. If he had stayed healthy, if he had stayed, if he didn't suffer that injury in the 1991 AFC divisional against the Cincinnati Bengals, where he literally tore his groin muscle off his bone or suffered that dislocated hip, he would have been a Hall of Famer in both Major League Baseball and the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because he was that good of an athlete. And yeah, his numbers aren't really impressive when it comes to baseball. 250 batting average, 141 career home runs, 415 RBI. His best year was 1989 when he hit 32 home runs, had 105 RBIs, 26 stolen bases. Struck out 172 times, but hey, he was swinging the bat in those. But I remember his home run from the 1989 All-Star game. I remember watching it live and going, "Holy crap." He just knocked it out of Angel Stadium. At that time, it was Anaheim Stadium.
Yep.
But now it's Angel Stadium or whatever they call it now. But the guy was just, and he could repeat number 34, just to give you a heads up.
Because that's what I remember, 34, which is why I didn't even think of Bo.
Yeah, but man, Bo Jackson, that career he could have had, but he was a pretty solid baseball player. I mean, 132 hits in 1989. So, he's up and coming as one of the best baseball players offensively, but also defensively.
Oh.
And he hit only 246, but in terms of power, in terms of speed, he wasn't also good as bat. He was also great in the outfield.
Yeah. That's the thing. I did not get to see Bo Jackson play as much because, again, when I was really young, I wasn't following sports as much, but everybody remembers the throw where it was a rocket and it didn't even hit a cutoff man because it didn't need one. He had a cannon for an arm, and also everyone remembers where he ran up the wall to catch that ball.
He caught the ball and people thought he was going to collide with the wall, but he winds up going sideways and running up the wall and parallel to the ground.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about Bo Jackson that makes me, I don't say, it doesn't make me mad, but it makes me think of why I've been. Because the 1984 New York Yankees, they could have had Bo Jackson and John Elway.
Oh, man.
And Don Mattingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
At second base, you could have had John Elway. In the outfield, you could have had Bo Jackson, because originally, in the second round of the 1982 Major League Baseball amateur draft, the Yankees drafted Bo Jackson out of high school. Out of McAdory High School in McCalla, Alabama.
Wow.
But instead, he went on to Auburn University, where he won the Heisman Trophy, if I'm not mistaken. Let me hang on a second here. Let me double check. So he's in the College Football Hall of Fame, which is cool. Did he ever win the Heisman? He did win the Heisman he did. Okay, I see. I was right. Okay. 1985, he won the Heisman Trophy as a running back with Auburn University. Now, I remember watching the 30 for 30, where he could have joined. He could have gone to Actually, no. If I remember the story correctly, Tampa Bay wanted to draft him first overall.
Ah, okay.
And Bo Jackson said, if you draft me first overall, I will not play for you. And there was some sort of controversy where Bo Jackson was accused of taking money from a booster. And allegedly, the leaking came from the owner of the time of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it ruined his eligibility.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So he went on to play because he played both baseball because he wanted to play both baseball and football. And he played baseball. He was actually, I think I remember him saying that he said he was a better baseball player than he was a football player, even though he won the Heisman.
Man, that's ridiculous. And just as far as like cultural impact, Bo
Yes.
knows everything.
Yep.
And there are still Bo Jackson was such a great athlete and could do things that nobody could do that you used to debate if he was human or not. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Everyone felt like that. And the thing is, that's ridiculous because I didn't know the Yankees drafted him. But can you imagine? Because Elway was very vocal. Elway told the Colts, he's like, if you draft me, I'm going to play for the Yankees. So like that would have been ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bo Jackson and John Elway in your lineup. It's in New York and pinstripes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did the real-time research. I found out what happened. So Bo Jackson was picked first overall by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 1986 draft. He refused to sign with the Buccaneers, and he lost the remainder of his college baseball eligibility because he visited the Buccaneers facilities. The Buccaneers said the visit was NCAA approved, but wound up not being the case. And because it took away his remaining eligibility, he never played for the Buccaneers.
Oh, man.
So he went to play baseball professionally. He played with the Kansas City Royals because he was drafted in the fourth round of the 86 amateur draft. Because the Major League Baseball has a weird amateur draft back in the 80s. Because if you didn't sign with the team, you were put back into the draft board. So that's what happened with Kumar Rocker. If you remember Kumar Rocker, one time Tri-City Valley Cat.
Yeah.
Kumar Rocker had a brilliant career at Vanderbilt University. And then he was drafted by the New York Mets in 2021, was never signed. Then he played for half a season with the Tri-City Valley Cats to get his draft stock up, and he was drafted fourth overall by Texas. So he didn't sign with the Mets, and that was a huge mistake. But I guess he's been having some injury issues with Texas. But yeah, it's just the Major League Baseball has some weird eligibility rules when it comes to the draft, and this was one of them because Bo Jackson was drafted by the Yankees, drafted by the Angels, and drafted by the Royals. And he finally put the pen to paper with the Royals because he was pissed off at the Buccaneers for picking him first overall and then tattling on the NCAA when he went to visit their facility. And he stayed out of football for a year, was drafted in the 7th round when he entered the draft in 1987, was drafted by the Los Angeles Raiders.
Man.
So, but yeah, Bo Jackson, we're number 16 with the Kansas City Royals, and
it's a great pick.
Great career. Unfortunately, what could have been with him?
Yeah. You
But
know
he
who
suffered that injury.
You know who else wishes that Bo just stuck with baseball? Is Brian Bosworth. He wishes that Bo stuck with baseball for sure. Sorry, Boz. I know you're out there watching. Big fan.
We are big fans. Yeah, we are big fans. All right, we're going to get ourselves out of here. Before we do that, though, we just want to remind you about our social media channels, which are here. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Also visit bellyupsports.com, discover some of our other podcasts and articles. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast, wherever you podcast, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Pandora. And also, don't forget to get yourself notified on both Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when new videos go up, new shorts go up, show announcements go up. And also enter our Ovi Goal Watch 2025. Look for those posts on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Put your name in the book before it's too late. We don't want a default winner.
Yeah.
Unless we decide to enter ourselves and make ourselves the winner. But I just bought some Invader coffee, so don't worry about me.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I did buy some Invader coffee the other day. I also bought a bag for a veteran. So I'm a man of my word.
Nice.
Promise is
Awesome.
made. Promise is made. Promise is kept.
Of course. Of course.
And on the podcast side, rate, review, comment, all that stuff. If you're watching on Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, leave a comment in the comment section about your favorite athlete to wear the number 16. Who your team will take in the NFL draft, not the mock draft, but the NFL draft coming up in April. And also talk to us, leave a comment or general comment, like in general. So we want to thank you for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We'll be back live Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, talking about who knows what. We'll figure it out. But in the meantime, tune in then. And thank you for joining us again. For tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you again Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, with actual sports, not just mock drafts.
Good night, everybody.